Hello everybody, this is the One Piece King here today, and in my last video I had discussed about One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 with, Katakuri being playable, so that's pretty sweet. And also the Snake Man, also making an appearance as well, and doing a whole discussion with that. But in this one, I want to go and talk about One Piece World Seeker. I have played the game, I've had my experience with it, with the DLCs as well. The Zoro DLC, it was, it was decent, but I feel like they could have done more with it. And, with Sabo's DLC, kind of the same thing. Like, I felt like they could have done more with it. Like, the stories, for both of them were good, but I don't know. Like, it's just kind of like, felt like they could have added a little bit more to it. Like, maybe a side mission, maybe, not just challenge missions, but like side missions and something really, like, awesome. But, um, you know, so yeah, so discussing another DLC character that's going to be making it in, and we've seen, we've got some screenshots of, like what's gonna happen at least. At least I think that's what the screenshots mean is that, we're able to go, like we'll go to certain places, in the story and everything. Like for Zoro, like we get to go to some kind of new secret area, and with Sabo, the same thing. With Law, apparently, um, from what I've seen on screenshots, at least for the character, is that he will be in the Crystal Canyon, and, he would also take place in, a Sky Island as well, which that's what I wanted, because of the fact of, because of the fact that ever since, like, if you ever played One Piece World Seeker before, that, you kind of just go and do the missions and everything. With the Law's mission during the story, like when you play as Luffy, just to, simmer that down. But when you go through like half of the story, I believe, Law actually shows up to actually give you, a mission for a Sky Island. Like you actually get to explore a new place. And the only way to get there is by, this cannon that, you basically gotta launch yourself like straight into the sky. And I thought that was pretty cool. I went and discovered it. I got all the chests that I needed there and everything. In fact, I think, yeah, I think there was a costume and everything. Like you're able to craft costumes in the game as well. So just letting you know, there's a reminder for that and everything that there is gonna be a chest that's gonna have like costume material plans and everything. I believe it's Strong World, which makes sense because it actually was sort of in a Sky Island, sort of. But, but discussing about what I think, the pathways, what it could take with Law's DLC, um, the first pathway, like, kind of like the first kind of like setup really, is that, like, going the Sky Island route, like, going that one. And I thought, like, possibly that we might get maybe another Sky Island, possibly like maybe one that's like actually like bigger and everything. Like the Sky Islands that we have for Luffy and Law, it's like they're big, but they're not like humongous like what Skypia would be, So I'm thinking we probably might get a size of an island like that in the sky, and what greater time to go and like throw in this one character that we haven't seen literally forever. We haven't seen this guy. And that would be Eneru. Like Eneru would make like a reintroduction in the story. Although World Seeker is not canon, it does tell about the events of the main story. So I think if they were going to go the Sky Island route, which they probably might be, Eneru might make an appearance, and, Eneru, like, might, reminisce about, the times of Skypia on how Luffy beat the crap out of him, and he went up to the moon. He basically found a city, fought space pirates, like all that and everything. Like if you've been paying attention to that and everything, like the cover story in the manga for Enru, like if that ever gets mentioned in the game, like as his little story, like his after story, I would be like, okay, that's actually impressive. Like you actually like tell, the cover story for Enru. Like you actually tell that. That's cool, you know. And of course, Enro would also be a boss fight as well, and not like basically making it to where he's a challenge boss fight. Like I legit mean like he's actually going to be like an actual roaming boss for once. Like you can actually, get sent to his Sky Island. It probably might have a name, like it probably might be called like the New Skypia or something like that. To where there's not only just going to be pirates on the island, but there's actually going to be like actual Skypians there. Like there's going to be actual like there's actually gonna be like actual people on the island itself to where you could talk with them and possibly do side missions. Like I don't know if they're gonna do side missions and everything for Lost DLC because in Zoro's and Sabo's we didn't get side missions. It was just challenge missions. I mean, it'd be cool if we did get that as a change for once, where we would actually get side missions at least just for one DLC character. Like it makes sense. Like I would be like, okay, that opens up like a wide variety of what they could give, for Law. Like it's kind of like he doesn't have to go just one pathway. He can go like million of other pathways, like millions of other routes where it's not just going down an Enro route with Skypia. No, like he can go on a different route that could be, related to like Crystal Canyon. Maybe something's going on there, or some other place, like it would lead up. But yeah, I just thought that that'd be a cool route to go if they went like I mean, like I said, they showed a screenshot of Sky, like Lot on a Sky Island, so I'm thinking like we probably might get something like that, to where we probably might get go to a new one, or maybe there's some kind of secret significance with Lost Sky Island that we don't know about, but we'll figure it out in Lost DLC. And maybe it might open up a little gateway with Enru coming in and everything and be like, whoa, like we haven't seen this guy in forever. It's like, Enru, please tell us, like, where have you been? And he just goes on his monologue of his little story of where he's been on the moon, or as he likes to call it, the fairy birth. But or I think it's endless birth. I don't know if it was fairy birth or the endless birth. I think both of them, kind of mean the same thing because it's like, you know, but like just making a tiny little detail before I go on the next route, that Eneru would actually be a roaming boss. Like, flat out, he would actually either like stand in one place or he would actually walk around. Like Eneru would actually be roaming for once. Because whenever we got Sabo's DLC, they made it to where Katakuri, was a challenge boss. Like you have to go and unlock, or you have to go and activate the challenge in order to fight him. And I thought that was kind of stupid. But it is what it is. We can't really change that. And I wish we could, because I would have been like, Katakuri can, like, you can make the mirror world, like, instead of the small little space, you can make it to where, like, you go in a different mirror in a different location and you get to explore around a bit with the mirror world. It's like, whoa. um yeah, so going on the second route, um and this one I thought would actually be interesting as well because it also reintroduces another character that, I mean, like if you've been catching up with the series, like with the manga and the anime both, you kind of know this character is probably going to make an appearance back in the story. Like, it's like Oda's not going to forget about him and be like, oh yeah, Luffy beat the crap out of this guy, but we're not going to hear from him again. Like, that's it, you know? Like, most of the other East Blue enemies, except Arlong, though. Arlong was, like, one character we don't forget about, though. Like, he actually gets, like, reintroduced and stuff. Like, meaning, like, he doesn't come back legit in the story, like, we see him again and the Straw Hats gotta fight him again. I mean, like, as, as Jinbei is telling his backstory in Fishman Island, like Arlong comes back. But anyway, though, you know, so the second route, that I was thinking deals more with the Crystal Canyon kind of side of it. And whenever I go to that area, it's got it's got both of like a pirate hideout and a marine base hideout alike, And it's actually kind of interesting that they kind of like have two bosses that spawn there, but they work in different factions. The Germa Double Six works on the pirate side because, I mean, I don't technically clearly call the Germa Double Six pirates really. Like, they're nicknamed the Warmongers, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. They love to do war. Like, it makes sense, but they do dealings with pirates that, kind of gets them either weapons or like more armies or more technology. You know, I get that and everything, and so that's why, sometimes like if you ever play the game and if you ever want to know there's more roaming bosses instead of just like Smoker, which yeah, pretty much I bet like all of you are thinking like Smoker wasn't the only roaming boss, like there's more. It's like, oh yeah, there's more. It's like I've seen them all. But um, but yeah, the Drama Double Six, they hang out in the pirates kind of hideout area in the Crystal Canyon. You could see EGG standing there with like a whole bunch of pirates and everything. You gotta go. It's like climbing up this hill, basically. You gotta go climb up this hill, and then sometimes you see them there, sometimes you don't. With me, it doesn't work all the time. Like they're not always there, especially. Ever since I downloaded the Sabo DLC, they have another spawning location. Same with Lucci. Um, which Lucci, yeah, like Lucci, who works with the CP0, the world government, he works on, the Navy faction side. Like, he doesn't stand down there with them, which I thought that's what he does. But technically, from like this little ledge or whatever, Lucci is like standing like right on the top of the ledge. Like, he's standing right on top of there, just looking down, and that's where you can see him. Like that's how he's a roaming boss. Um, and like I find that kind of interesting to know, but now it's making me think that, with the second route, I'm sorry, it's taking me long to mention the character. I'm thinking we can go a Doflamingo route, where Dofi actually makes a reappearance in the story with like a new look and everything. Like, I don't think he's really gonna keep, like the pink feathered coat that he always wears. I don't think he's gonna keep that. I mean, if he is, like it might be that, but as in like his actual like former outfit that he used to wear, he ain't gonna keep that anymore. Like it's gonna be changed because, because with Crocodile, Crocodile isn't like wearing the black, like with the black coat and like the black suit that he wears. Like he's not wearing that and everything. He's wearing, like it's like green. Yeah, it's like green with like a yellowish brown kind of coat that he's wearing on. You know, like that's what Crocodile's got going on. And I'm like, that's cool. Like Crocodile makes an appearance in the game. Like that's cool. But um but besides Crocodile and everything, because we kind of know what his purpose really is in there and everything. I mean, I was thinking about making a video about that to where I would talk about like what is, what's all with the big names, like what is their purpose to be on Prison Island in the first place? Like what is their purpose in the story? But I'll get to that in another video. Um, but the Doflamingo route. Like, Doflamingo could also be a boss as well. Like, I could see that being, the case that he's also a boss. Do I see him as a roaming boss? I kind of do. Because, because I feel like, Dofi would probably be the game changer in the Crystal Canyon area on where he kind of drives the Navy out. Like, he would kind of drive the Navy soldiers out to where, only the pirates would only win. Because Dofi, after the incident of, Dressrosa that, he got beat the crap out of, by Luffy, and his whole organization that he worked under Kaido and everything has been, basically uncovered. Like, they know, they decided, like, okay, there's another warlord that went behind our backs that was probably trying to backstab us all. So, like, we need to flat out, like, revoke his title, and, we basically can execute him later. Like, that's what we can do, you know? And, so I think with Dofi's goal, for like his return would be like, oh yeah, I noticed that, in this particular area that, pirates run one side of it, like they got their whole, base camps and everything on one side. But then you go to the other side, which is like more the southern side, and then, you got yeah, and then you got all the Navy and Marines and everything. Like you got all those guys over there. And what Dofi's plan would be like, I want to drive those guys out. Like I don't want them here. I want this to be like a full fledged pirate hideout. Like this is gonna be my new base. This is gonna be like my new little hideout from now on. Like it's gonna be very different looking, and I'm gonna be like, basically ruling this place. And like first, basically, you would go and do a boss fight with Dofi and everything, and then he tells you the plan, and then he's like, "Do you want to help, or not? Because either way, like I could do this myself. But I think if we work together, we could probably like get rid of these guys faster. Like we could do that." So like I'm just like I'm thinking like if they went that route, basically, there would be like there would be a change because there's always like there's always got to be a change with something like whenever the DLCs get released, like a new area opens up, or like a new area opens up, or flat out the the boss locations kind of change, or some bosses don't appear and a new one appears, like like sort of like that. That's why like that's why I'm thinking like like we might get something like that, to where if they went the Dofi route, that flat out you're able to clear out all the Marines in that area, and then all you have is just pirates, and then the only roaming boss in that area now, like I think the Vent Smokes are still gonna be in their particular spot where they're supposed to be, on top of the hill. Like you basically run up this trail and then you find them. But anyway, though, I think they're still gonna be there. But it's just whenever you walk on the other half and everything, you're gonna find Doflamingo. Like you're gonna find him there, and it's gonna be like, oh, like it's been a long time since I've seen this guy. It's like he's a roaming boss now, and his only particular location is now the Crystal Canyon, and Lucci's location has been moved, or I don't know if they're gonna keep his location the same, or if his location is gonna be different. Like I don't know, but whatever the case may be, they probably might keep it the same, but they probably might be like, oh yeah, like ever since the Marines got driven out, that Lucci also has to change locations. Like now Lucci's only got one, like he's supposed to have. Like you know. So yeah, like I think that's the second route of where it could go, is that, the Doflamingo route, to where you basically help him kind of change the outlook of Crystal Canyon to make it to where it's gonna be his whole base of operations now. Um, now moving on to the third route, which sort of almost connects into the Doflamingo route, because this is involving Caesar, Now, technically, I thought in the Zoro DLC, since we kind of got, like a lab and everything, like we got to go in like this base, or, well, it wasn't a base, it was like a storage kind of unit room, and, you had to keep going down the stairs and everything, but once you get to like the lowest level, and you go where you're supposed to go, there's this room that opens up, and it's a lab. Like it's Isaac's lab, that he goes and works on the robots, and he goes and works on, like all of his inventions basically. But then I was thinking like, okay, you got all this and everything, and I guess Isaac is pretty smart in, the mechanic side of it, but what about the scientific side of it? Like this, like a science unit. And I'm thinking that, maybe Isaac had, maybe Isaac had, hired Caesar, because Caesar now has nowhere left to go. Like, he's on the run. But Isaac would hire Caesar because Caesar, has like a very intelligent brain, like he's very smart, that, he would like basically help him with all the calculations on how to make, like his robots very superior, on how to probably negate devil fruit abilities, like, say like if Crocodile or Fujitor or any of the other people that have like abilities, like powers, that, flat out like Caesar would already have the cure for that. Like, oh yeah, like, all you gotta do is like, either put Sea Prism Stone on the armor to where, even if they get hit, it's not gonna do much damage because, Sea Prism Stone is the weakness of Devil Fruit users. And, if they get touched, they're basically gonna get weak. So, basically there you go. So, like I thought that's what was gonna happen basically, was that Caesar was also gonna be, in cahoots with Isaac, that, those two have been working together, and, but then after, yeah, but then after like the whole thing where Isaac flat out just wants to go and blow up Prison Island and everything, he kind of just would look at Caesar and be like, oh yeah, like, our work here basically is done, but, I have no need for you anymore, so, like, you're still considered a pirate in my eyes, so enjoy your journey in hell because, I'm gonna blow up this freaking island itself and you're going along with it, you know? Like, basically backstabbing Caesar, which that's what he wanted to do, but yeah, but we didn't get Caesar and everything in Zoro's DLC, so I got kind of upset at that. I was like, there's a lab, you know? And you think the one place with a lab would be Caesar. Like, come on. But, now with law and everything, I feel like we probably might get Caesar, like a Caesar route. Um, Not exactly the same way, really, with, Caesar and Isaac, cahoots with each other to where they're working together. Um, but basically it would be like Caesar's little like studying research basically, because he is a scientist after all, and he's got, the scientific code, even though he's not like a peaceful scientist like Vegapunk is, but he's like one of those scientists, like a mad scientist, like he wants to go either create life or he wants to go and create weapons of destruction, like, all that sort of stuff. Like that's what Caesar wants to do. That's Caesar's whole that's his whole goal. And so I think with the Caesar route would be more like, you have to go and help him. Like you have to go and, help Caesar kind of like, investigate these robots and everything. Like kind of be in combat with the robots, but Caesar would kind of be like, oh yes, like, now I've gotten my research and everything, like, thank you so much. But, like, even though it's still law, he would be like, but, like, there's a catch with the but he's like, but, I still hate you. Like, I still hate you. Like, don't get any funny ideas that, we're gonna be cahoots and friends now, but, like, no, I still hate you. But, but still, like, it would be, like, either it would be like a side mission, I would see it as, or flat out, like, maybe they would probably have it to where the story would go other routes and everything, to where it not only goes like a Sky Island route, but it goes other routes as well, you know. But, I mean, if it didn't though, I wish we would get side missions to where it would give us like more opening routes to where it could go a Doflamingo route or a Caesar route. Um, like that'd be really cool. But, but also with Caesar making an appearance and everything, I think Monet would also make an appearance as well. Like, because Monet, is Caesar's, like, assistant, basically, you know? And, I mean, technically, people could fight it and say, like, well, isn't Monet dead, in the series? Because, like, that wouldn't make any sense. Like, Caesar is still alive. That dude didn't die. Like, I don't think Caesar is ever gonna die. Caesar is gonna flat out just be like, yeah, I'm gonna live forever, you know? Like, I'm gonna be on the run, but I'm gonna live forever, you know? But Virgo and Monet are most definitely dead, you know? Like, both of those two are most definitely dead. And, I mean, just making another little side note, like, going the Doflamingo route again, I think Dolphy might even, like, get a little bit mad because of the fact, like, Law killed Virgo. Like, he'd be like, yeah. I mean, like, I would accept your help, but due to the fact that, you killed my favorite subordinate, a guy that was like my own brother, basically, not Cortisone. Like, he didn't care for him. Like, he means Virgo. So, like, basically, you killed Virgo, who was basically like my best friend, my brother, basically, in a way. I'm not gonna enjoy working with you. Like, I'm not gonna enjoy, being in a team. But I have no choice because I want to get this done fast, so there you go. Um, like all that kind of stuff. But but with this like with the Caesar route though, I mean, if it ever makes a surprise where Monet does come in and it's like, yeah, I somehow survived, like basically making it like non-canon. Like I said, like World Seeker is non-canon, but it just takes, events from the actual story. So I don't know, if they're actually just gonna be like, oh yeah, like the events of Punk Hazard, oh that really happened, like yeah, you know, and Monet and Virgo don't make an appearance at all. It's just Caesar. I mean, like that'd be cool to make Caesar have an appearance in the game, but like it would probably just be like a tiny little thing to go and investigate the robots, fight them, see what's up with them, and Caesar would be like, aha, it's like I have enough research to go, and make my own basically, but make them like a lot stronger and powerful. And maybe I might have you test them the next time, like, just to let you know. And, so basically Caesar would just be gone and everything, like Caesar would just disappear. I could see Caesar definitely being like a buggy to where you would have to go around and go and look for him and everything. Like you'd have to go and grab information from the people and be like, "Oh yeah, I saw like this gas looking dude just like going straight that way, like that way. Like I saw a dude going that way, so you gotta like follow the trail or something." But um, so yeah, I think they could go a Caesar route or a fourth route, really. Um, I mean, technically, this only goes by the anime standards, like where we currently are at in the anime. I mean, they possibly could do it though. They possibly could, and that's also unlocking another character to come into play, and that's none other than Hawkins. Like maybe Hawkins and Kid, maybe them both because Hawkins for the reason that Law and Hawkins are eventually gonna fight, like in the anime side of it. I mean they fought before and everything, like already in the Wano arc, but it was kind of like off screen. Um, but in the anime they're gonna make it to where we legit see the fight, like that's cool. Um, but I could definitely see Hawkins being like a boss fight, and I could definitely see them using, Hawkins, like Hawkins like awakening, his ability, to where he summons up, like his sword's called the Warabide, or yeah, the Warabide and everything. Um, but he basically summons up like the Straw Demon, I believe it's called. Like the Straw Demon comes out, it's got its own little club filled with nails in it, and whenever Hawkins goes and makes the move, so does that. Like that would be pretty cool as a boss fight because that's kind of taking a bit of reference off of a Bleach character. I think I can remember his name. It's like Konohamaru or something like that. I think is what his name was. Um, he had a Bankai to where, he would summon up like this gigantic warrior like the samurai warrior and everything, that also, had a giant sword. The thing's gigantic itself, but, he had a gigantic sword, and, whenever he goes and makes the move and everything, so does that. But, kind of the same reference also what, Hawkins and his Straw Demon does, to where if the Straw Demon gets, kind of like attacked and everything, Hawkins feels it too. It's the same thing, with Komahameru and, and his Bankai basically. Like, you attack the Bankai, he gets hurt, or if you attack him, then the Bankai gets hurt. Like, all that basically. And, like, I think that'd be pretty cool and everything to where, you would, like, you're able to attack, like, both and everything. Like, you're able to attack, the Straw Demon, and it also hurts Hawkins, like, that sort of thing. Like, it's really cool. But, like, we would get a boss fight with that, and, it would also show that, Hawkins is working for the Beast Pirates for Kaido, and like basically Hawkins would want to know like what is your purpose on Prison Island in the first place, Law? Like what is your purpose here? And it'd be like a back and forth of like asking each other questions like, well, okay, like I'll tell you what my purpose is, but I want to know what yours is first, like a back and forth. Um Now whenever I said kid making an appearance, I mean I can see that, but like that's kind of hard to tell really because, we haven't seen Kid yet, like in the current Wano arc in the anime, like not yet. We will, but just not yet. Um, like it's gonna be very hard to like explain, without any big spoilers for anime watchers only about, like what happened to Kid or where is he at right now, like in Wano, like where is he at? Like we don't want to spoil too much because Over the Top, opening 22 already did that. Like it already spoiled too much already. So we don't need like a little spoiler and be like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was like in that prison. I'm like in Udon. I'm in the prison, and I'm trying to get out and everything and get all my friends and basically just say like screw this for now and everything. Like, I tried to challenge Kaido, but then a bunch of other crap happened, and here we are. Like, here's where I am, and it's like, okay, you know, I don't know. I mean, if they wanted to go the Hawkins route, they could also open up. I wouldn't say Wano itself, like that's going a bit too far. But I would say like sort of like how we got the Spot Island kind of thing. Um, like in different versions, like if you go and get like different versions of One Piece World Seeker, there actually is a side mission to where you're actually able to like get sent all the way to Spot Island and you have to go and collect like, this material or whatever. It's like it's the spring water. Excuse me. It's the spring water because the hot springs, that are also on Spot Island basically, have been rumored to basically make someone look younger. Like if you go and like either douse yourself with it or you go and drink some of it and everything. Like basically it makes you look younger. And so that's what that whole, old lady's like, whole desire was to be so that she can so that she can go and find or basically attract the man that, she was in love with and he loved her and she thought that he would only love her for her appearance. But that doesn't seem to be the case because they're both old anyway and it was pretty touching. Um, but basically they made it to where it was like a nice little DLC to where you got to see a Bikini Nami, you got to see a Bikini Robin, and you got to see a Bikini Tashigi, you know? But in the US version, they didn't allow that. Like the island is there, but it's only there for a challenge mission. And I'm like, that is gay. It's like that is gay. It's like I don't want that. Um, you know, But, in that same instance, though, like if Hawkins or Kid or possibly Drake as well, I mean, I think Drake could also make an appearance in there as well because, Drake also works for Kaido as well. He's one of the headliners. In fact, he's labeled to be one of the Flying Six captains, I believe. Like one of the Flying Six. Or I think it's six Flying Captains or the Flying Six. Like, either way works. Um, and we get to see what Drake looks like, in his time skip and everything. Like during the time skip and everything, we get to see what he looks like too. So that's why it's making me think like, oh, Drake could also be a boss battle. But but the thing with Drake though, like, I could see Hawkins, being on Prison Island and everything. Like I could see him being there. But, once you beat him and you get your answers, you know, it kind of opens up like a new area, kind of like a new island that's been kind of like nearby Prison Island, and it almost shares a bit almost the culture of Wano, just because, like just because we already got, Wano in the anime, it would kind of make sense if they did that. Like it would be like, oh, like yeah, you know, you you defeated me and, you got your answers and everything. But the one that knows the most answers and everything, like, knows more than I do, because, he's been working under, Kaido before me, you gotta go find Drake. Like, you gotta go find that guy. And, where he's currently at, he's currently on, an island nearby and everything. It's not Spot Island because, kind of like a little spoiler, I'm sorry, kind of a little spoiler though. Drake apparently, I some people want to say Drake is a pervert, but I just want to think like Drake is like, like basically is like he's never seen a woman like that before. Like, Drake is like so innocent minded and everything. Like, yes, he's a Marine and he's, killed people before, like probably killed pirates before and everything. Not innocent people, but pirates and everything. Like Drake has done it before, I bet. In his like old days, whenever he like went up the ranks of rear admiral and everything. Um, but as of like, but as of seeing, something like, not right and everything. Meaning like, basically, like if you've been reading the manga, basically, there's this one scene to where Drake and Hawkins are basically, at the bathhouse and they're trying to look for the Kozuki members, so they can arrest them and be like, okay, we've caught them all. There's no rebellion. Everyone is, like everyone is fine and safe and everything. It's okay. And Drake, Drake was kind of feeling a bit not wanting to go in there because he's like, I don't trust myself to go in there. Like, I don't think it's my place to go in there. And so Hawkins is just like, you've got to be kidding me, bro. Like, fine, I'm going in there because, at least I'm not going to be a wuss, So he goes in there, and he's going to ask around and everything. And whenever Chaos brings in, and Hawkins kind of needs help, Drake comes in and he goes and looks at this woman, and this woman, kind of, like it's a bathhouse. Drake kind of just like passes out. Like Drake is all like, plump, like passes out on on the floor. He passes out on Hawkins, and I'm just like, I don't think that makes Drake a pervert. I just think that Drake never has seen a woman like that before. That's why, Drake passed out because it's like, this is the first time I've ever seen this. It's like I have no idea how to react. Plump, and just that's it. Like Drake doesn't come back up. Like it's a funny thing with Drake. Um, you know, but like if they want to make Drake go on Spot Island and everything, like basically, like basically Drake goes on Spot Island and everything, not because of that and everything, but it would be because of like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do reconnaissance around here and everything, and it's, like it's looking very clear. It's looking very good. Like I don't see no Marines in sight. I don't see, I don't see other enemies like other pirates like, maybe Luffy's group or Law's group. I don't see any of those guys. I don't see them. Like everything's looking perfectly fine. Like you would probably have to play it stealthy, and then whenever you finally reach the Drake, it's like, aha, like, it's basically me. I've taken out all your men on this island, and now, me and you gotta fight. And, it would be like after their fight, that Law gets some answers from Drake, and, Drake would be like, oh, yeah, it's like, okay, I'm gonna be real with you. You got your answers, but, like, he's not gonna tell you that there's another person that you have to get answers from. Like, he's not gonna do that, because the only person I can think of is Apu, but like flat out, it's just gonna be like a battle after battle after battle. I mean, that'd be pretty cool, but you know, like I don't know, like it'd be like a running joke to where like you have to go one place, they tell you stuff, but then they tell you like, oh yeah, like you gotta go that way, like you gotta go talk to like another guy that way. It's like, oh my god, it's like okay, go into that guy. He tells you kind of the same thing, but tells you to go a different way. And so it gets kind of like a headache, and like even though it would only lead you to like the new place and everything, like a new island location that would be discovered there, which Drake would have to take you. Um, like I bet in the end, Apu would probably just lead you on a goose chase and everything because like that would lead for him to escape. It'd be like, oh yeah, it's like I gave you your answers and everything, but I know you're gonna hate this, but like that way, like right off this island and everything, like that way, like right at that little beach over there, like there's a guy over there, like you can go talk to that guy. It's like okay, like basically just on a ghost chase and everything, and then you realize like Apu's been running your leg basically. It's like oh my god, it's like I never should have trusted that guy. I mean, like Hawkins and Drake were leading you on the right path and stuff because they know what you're after. And Apu does too, but Apu's just like, he's a tough customer, man. I don't want to deal with this guy, so I'm just gonna lead him on a ghost chase, and hopefully he doesn't come back for me. Like, like please don't. But like it would probably be funny, but probably give you a headache and be like, it's like Apu. You know, I mean, like they could do that if they wanted to, but I don't really know. Like, it probably might give somebody a headache with that, especially me. I'd be like, oh my god, it's like I gotta go all over the place. Um, but yeah, though, so four routes really. They possibly could do like a fifth route where, it could also be like another route I never even thought about, or maybe they can add all four together, or possibly all five together, and make it to where Law's, DLC story might be like really huge to where it'd be like, oh yeah, it's not so shortened and everything. Like, it's all gonna add back up in the end, to where Law would come in to save the day and, kind of help you like defeat the robots and stuff. But, like I really don't know like what route they're really gonna go. I hope they do it like that to where they probably might, make it to where there's different routes to go at once. And it's kind of like you the decider to go and be like, well, there's so many routes to go and they're all cool. Like I can go an inner route and I can go up the Sky Island, or, I can go to Crystal Canyon for Doflamingo, or I could go this other place and find Caesar, like looking around for Caesar. Or, I go to this other place, find Hawkins, and then figure I'm going on a ghost chase. Like that would lead up to a poo, but go on a ghost chase and then figure out like a poo just basically, screwed me. Like, shoot. It's like this freaking, you know, like, or, like I said, a fifth route would be new. Like another new route I never even thought of. Like, possibly might deal with, something else maybe. Um, like, I really don't know. But hopefully, I hope they do make the right call with it though, because like I said, whenever I saw it with Zoro's DLC, there was so much they could have done and everything, you know? Like, the only main major bosses that I saw with that was Tashigi, you know, like Tashigi, you know, would kind of pop in and out, except you two work together. You know, Fujitora, kind of the same thing, really, but, you know, Fujitora, you only battle him once. I think the same with, no, Tashigi, I think you fight twice. You know, but Fujitora, you definitely fight once and everything. Kizaru, you know, Kizaru most definitely, you know, he pops in and out and everything. Like, that dude just goes like, phew, phew, like, I'm here. And, you know, like, I'm just thinking, like, okay, there could have been a new character besides this Kagero kind of guy. Like, Kagero is only for, yeah, Kagero is only for, you know, like, Zoro and everything. Like, Luffy doesn't know, Sabo doesn't know, or maybe Sabo does know, but he just doesn't bother with it because he thinks someone else could take care of that. You know, and Law doesn't know, like, nobody else knows except for Zoro because, you know, it's Zoro's story, and that's what he's been after. But I'm just sitting there thinking, like, what? Like, okay. And then, you know, with Sabo's DLC, the only thing we really got that was new was, well, I mean, like, we got to fight Isaac, actually, which I wish they would have made Isaac a roaming boss. You know, like, basically in a certain location somewhere, like maybe the Crystal Canyon as well, you can make Isaac a roaming boss and do it that way. But they didn't want to, so I'm just like, hmm. It's like, okay. Um, you know, I mean, Katakuri also makes an appearance as well the first time. And whenever I saw that, I was like, it's like, are they gonna make it to where Katakuri could, like, you know, kind of be a roaming boss? Or, and then he wasn't roaming, it was flat out just a challenge. And I was like, okay, like, I'm not gonna fight that, that's okay. And you know, like, you got to also fight Lucci and everything a couple of times. And I'm trying to think of another character you also fight. Because, I mean, you fight Katakuri, you fight Lucci, you fight, well, I mean, like, you fight Isaac, but you also fight, you know, you also fight Alkaino at the end, which that's naturally supposed to happen because, you know, it's the it's a boss fight, so, you know, makes sense in that regard. Oh, and you also fight the Germa Double Six once. I almost forgot about that. Like, in the beginning, you kind of fight them and everything. Like, whenever you go investigating and stuff, you fight them for the first time. Um, so yeah, I kind of completely forgot about that. But excuse me. But I'm just thinking with Lost DLC though, I hope they don't really reuse like some of the same old ones and everything. Like the ones I could see them reusing. Excuse me again. The ones I can really see them reusing would probably be Kizaru and Fujitora because, I mean, Law technically, you know, also had to go and pick a fight with, you know, Kizaru as well, sort of. And Fujitora most definitely was picked to fight with and everything. Alkainu, not really. Aokiji, also not really. Um, you know, like, I'm trying to think of like all characters that, oh, Smoker, you know, like Smoker could also be a boss as well because, you know, their fight or duel has never been like completely finished yet, you know. Like, I could definitely see that and everything to where like only three bosses would only be like reused and everything as like a main story. But we need some like new bosses and everything, like not just one, but I'm talking about like a lot because there's so much that they could do with Law's DLC because Law, you know, besides Sabo, is like the one guy, you know, like the one guy that kind of like knows his people, you know, like that knows, you know, the information on what he has on others and everything, you know. So, like, I'm just thinking that we could possibly get, you know, like I said, a Doflamingo route and everything. Like, Eneru, like, Law doesn't know Eneru, but you know, like basically it's a sky island, so that's the only reason why Enru would be there. I mean, you could fight and say like, oh well, there could be somebody else there. There could be, like there could be another character, like possibly Doflamingo probably could be like wanting to rule the Sky Islands, and I'm like, that could be true, but I just don't know because usually Sky Islands, kind of major, in Eneru's thing because that's what he's always been, doing. Um, like an Eneru, a Doflamingo route, a Caesar route, a Hawkins route that would lead with the Beast Pirates. I mean, technically I did throw in Kid in there, but like I said, I really don't think there could be a Kid route, really. I don't think there could be, because that's that's difficult. Like, that's difficult, man. Um, yeah, so, I just wanted to go on that kind of discussion and everything because we got screenshots. So, um, like, give a like to the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, leave a comment down below, and, like, I want to know you guys' thoughts on what route do you think that they're gonna go. Like, are they gonna go Route 1, which is basically the Enero route with, with the Sky Islands basically, to where there could be, like, a bigger Sky Island? Like, it could probably be called, like, New Skypia or some other, like, name, and, Enero's rolling over it? Or could they go a Doflamingo route to where you gotta, like, help them kind of clear out Crystal Canyon to make it to where it's like his base of operations, to where it's like his, like his little home base there? Or could they go the Caesar route to where you gotta help Caesar, like investigate with these robots and basically be like, well, like, help Caesar with this research and be like, oh, I can make like I can make a replica but make it better and make it to where like, it could really pack a punch. Or could it go the fourth route, with currently in Wano and everything, like, could it go the fourth route to where we could get Hawkins, Drake, and a Pooh, like that would lead on to a goose chase, but then in the end, you probably would go back and beat the crap out of a Pooh again, or probably just like, don't mess with me, bro. Like, that sort of thing. Or, a fifth route to where, like, it's a new character, which I would love to go and hear about anyone's thoughts about, like, what the fifth route could be and everything. Because, like, I'm trying to think about that and everything, and the only real one I can think of is, probably dealing with the Kozukis, like, Kinemon and everybody. Or or flat out dealing with maybe the Grand Fleet, maybe like with Barto and the others, or with the Minks and everything, like with Inarashi and Nekomamushi, and you basically just like gotta deal with their quarrel or their problem, like something like that really. Like, I want to know, what y'all's thoughts would be with like, a fifth route and everything, but like if y'all had, your own little routes too and everything that y'all think about, like that would also be good. I would also want to hear them. Um, but until then, this has been the One Piece King, and I'll be signing out.